Mordechai. Good Voch. Welcome to all the guests. What's your name?
Yishai
Ben Avram. From? Where do you live now?
Yerushalayim.
Shalom Aleichem. There's like a sound going on. What is that? Oh, it's not you, it's down, okay. Who are the guests? We have a special guest. Shalom Aleichem, what's your name? Brooklyn, New York. Where'd you come from tonight? You came all the way from Givat Shaul. Thank you for coming. You're not such a guest, but what's your name? Yeah. Abigzer, where are you from? You think you told me from Muncie.
I can't see the duck again.
Every day something else, something new. So I love you, Straimel. Voch. So you're new. How you doing?
Good.
Baruch Ebstein from the Safe, New Jersey. Gewaldig. Thank you all for coming. We have one email, very interesting. I used to do, it's called a mentor's mission. Basically, we take non-affiliated college students and bring them to Eretz Yisrael. As businessmen, it was like a one-on-one. The whole thing was under the Or Sameach thing. They still do it. I believe this guy, without even saying who he is, I think he's one of my guys. His name is Joel Ehrlich. A little late, but it could be somebody else. But he says over here that he's Chicago, and I know this guy. He's a regular Ben Torah today and everything. Little late, but he asked for reports. Listened on the shir and every yontiv. I did via Spotify. Thank you so much for making the effort this time over Pesach and over Pesach to publish the shiurim in advance. It's much easier for me to double up twice than to end yontiv 3 days in the hole. I also want to acknowledge the effort that you and your team have made to upload the videos on a consistent schedule, even through all your travels, something like that. This cannot be easy. I listen early in the morning in Chicago. So no, if you live in Chicago, how come I don't see you? Maybe I do. Prior years, I used to intentionally keep a day behind, just ensure. It's a very shver. We need a pshat here in this email. Used to intentionally keep a day behind, just ensure that I always had something new each day. That has to be unnecessary for quite some time. This scheme did afford me the option to double up on every yontiv, and I had forfeited that benefit until recently. So now I'm enjoying the best of both worlds. Thanks again, and Tisklemitzis, Joel Ehrlich. Okay, I think it's the guy. Always, I want to share with you. First of all, we're getting very, very close to Avodah Zarah. It's geschmack. It's great to do Avodah Zarah. It's unbelievable. Start thinking about bringing in your friends. This is the opportunity. You have a brother that doesn't do the daf. You know that brother, that stubborn guy that says he doesn't need the daf. He's good. He has his chavrusas. He has his shiurim, which means once every 2 months he goes somewhere. He used to, maybe 6 years ago, he used to. Get him. This is the opportunity, Reb Eli. And Baruch Hashem, we have a lot of Gemaras now to give out. Oh, we went above. I can't believe. One guy just donated $15,000 towards the Gemaras. So Be'ezer Hashem, but we got to do the work. I mean, we have Gemaras, and we need people. We need people, so start getting them right now. So this Friday night, Shamshi Shlafra got up and gave a speech in front of the whole shul. Every week, somebody else gives a speech. I never heard him speak over there in the shul. And he spoke beautifully. As a matter of fact, one of the guys comes over to me, the biggest hater of the shir, comes over to me and says, "Oh, so you do have Tamid Chachamim to watch your shir." But what he did was, he took a page right out of the shir, and he threw in some jokes. And then they're not used to it, like it's serious. You got to give on the parsha. Anyway, so one of his jokes was, and he went to English. He says, I don't know how to say this in Hebrew. So I'm going to repeat his joke. The cover of the shir, so we have a little milsa de bichusa. He says that there was a Rav. He called him a Harry. Okay, I don't know if he knows what a Harry is really, but basically, this is a guy that flipped out. Okay, he used to be more modern, and he became super stark, and he became a Rav of a shul. And there was a boy in the shul that came from a Frum family, but he went off and he had very long hair. So after davening, people came to the road, Good Shabbos, Good Shabbos, Good Shabbos. And when he sees this boy, he tells his boy, Shabbat Shalom. So the boy looks at him and he says, I might be off the derech, but I'm more yeshivish than you'll ever be. Those who know. It's a Mordecai line. I'm more yeshivish than you'll ever be. With all line, okay. Y'all want to be yeshivish. And also coming from him with his kippah sruga and everything, he's saying it like he's Mr. Yeshivish. I don't know. It added to the joke. It was givaldic. Rabbi Isai, we have a bunch of Israelis coming in about 45 minutes. We have a pretty long daf, so we have to get going here. The Masechta is sponsored by anonymous Hatzlacha bruchnius ActualEyes is a monthly sponsor in honor of David, Duvie, Merkin, of Israel and all the Silver Spring daffers. Eli Dyckman for the Refuah Shleima of TINOK ben Rivka, TCS Israel powered by TALKNSAVE. Daily sponsors Eli Ebstein, the Nishmas Abi Mori, Yitzchak Moshe ben Achaber, Arofé, Mordechai. MDY Kids Monthly, Kidnovations, Zechus for Fishel, Kiva, Rivki, Mrs. Stefansky. Oh, talking about Fishel, I spoke to him a couple of days ago. He wants to do like a program for Avodah Zarah. He wants to give out like $250, but he's looking for helpers. There's a few people gave him. So the guy threw in 1,000, this, that. He's going to do maybe 100 people. He didn't want to do anything, but he saw the opportunity. He says, okay, so if anybody wants to help him out, contact Fishel for his program. Art of the Month, Refuah Shleima for Yehonatan. Rabbi saying he's here in the house. Yehonatan Eitan ben Besheva Bracha Refuah Shleima. Amen. For Zechus, for Reb Eli and the whole MDY staff to continue to make Torah so enjoyable so many. In honor of Yossi Klein Mark Ashkenazi for all the work they do. Rabbi here we go. We're holding Daf Amud Beis all the way in the bottom, 2 lines from the bottom, where it says Gemara. And we have a Mordecai Agadata. Unbelievable. Revachah bar Huna, V'Rav Shmuel berei the Rabba, bar Rachano, V'Rav Yitzchak berei the Rav Yehuda, Tadnu Shevuos bei Rabba. They were learning Masechta Shevuos by Rabba, all these Amoraim. Haga behu Rav Kahana, and Rav Kahana bumped into them. And that's the end of the Agadata. I hope you really enjoyed it. Amar Luhu, he asked him a question. He says, oh, you're learning Shevuos. Let me ask you a bomb question. But it's a riddle. Hazid b'Shevuos hapikoden b'hisru boi mau. We know that not only Shevuos hapikoden, but also Shevuos ha'edos, it's one of the only things in the Torah that if you do it on purpose, you bring a carbon. Now, what happens if you did it on purpose, but there were 2 Eidim that warned him, don't do it? So this question is, Kibin the Chidushu, this is a massive Chidush. In all of the Torah, we don't find anything. Shabbos, a person does something deliberately, doesn't bring a carbon. It's Chayiv Misa. If there's Eidim, it's Chayiv Misa, no Eidim, but you don't bring a carbon, only Shayi. Rashi says over here, it's not the only thing in the Torah. Sharei arba, there are 4, says Rashi. Even you do it deliberately. Someone who has relations with a shivcha. And also a nazir who became Tomei on purpose. And then he brings the 2 that we know, Shevuos ha'edos and Shevuos ha'pikad. Okay. Hold on him, since it's a massive chiddush. Perhaps there's no difference whether they warned him or not. Maybe you bring a carbon when there's no hasra, no warning. Maybe you get malchus if there's hasra. Carbon lemaisi, you don't bring a carbon. Maybe you bring a carbon and you get malchus. Says Gemara, Omrulei Tanina. So you say, oh, we could prove it. How? Chamure meno Shevuos hapikadon. Shevuos hapikadon. What's Shevuos hapikadon? A person had somebody watch something for him and he comes to get it back and he says, I don't know where it is. I don't know what you're talking about. This is worse off than the Shevuos ha'edos. Shevuos ha'edos, somebody says, could you testify for me? And he says, I don't know the testimony. It's worse. Why? He Because Shevuos HaPikadon, if you do it deliberately, you get Malchus. You get Malchus. And if you do it by mistake, what does mistake mean? So like we said the whole time, mistake means you don't know there's a carbon. You know that what you're doing it on purpose. You just don't know there's a carbon. You have to bring a carbon that's worth Osham B'Kesef Shkolim. It's worth 2. Now the Gemara proves we're talking about Malchus. How in the world does a person get Malchus? The only way to get Malchus is if 2 Eidim stood there, they saw you about to do it, and they warned you beforehand. And Amar Malchus in carbon line, and it says Mefurish, you get Malchus, and it doesn't say anything about a carbon. So it's a raya, it's one or the other. You get Malchus, you don't get a carbon. So we'll prove from here that you only get one or the other. You only get Malchus. It's not 2. You asked me, maybe you get both. You have to get Malchus, you get carbon. No, it's only Malchus. Now, why does it say it's chomer? Very simple. Umay chumra. It's better to bring a carbon and not Malchus. That's the chumrah. Right? What would a person prefer? To get beat up? Someone just telling me that in the British Navy they used to take a cane and beat the sailors until skin came off, and sometimes they would die. A whole thing.
It was in Cheder.
With a cane? Listen, that explains a lot. You get a free pass now. You went through this, huh? That's the trauma. I knew you had some trauma. I wasn't sure what. Baruch Hashem, now we know. Listen, come here. Come often. Come to 2 shiurim a day. Get rid of your trauma. We specialize in cheder beating traumas. That's what we specialize. What?
He needs a hug.
You know what he needs? He needs a stickle beating. That's what he needs. That'll fix everything. When was the last time you got a gezunta beating? Tell me that, miss. It's been a long time, no? You feel like you need it, no? Yeah, that's what I thought. Especially on Motzei Shabbos, you and Gary competition. Where is Gary?
I'd rather not talk about it.
Okay. Whatever. He was not feeling well today by Shachris, but he was dishing out the chant, and I didn't think that was a very smart idea. I know he's not watching, so I could say whatever. Oh, yes, Mom's getting better. Shalom Aleichem. Kim Tzaran. What's your name? You're one of the Pilchiks? Ah, I see already. I see you. Shalom Aleichem. Come on in. Look, we have two seats over here. 1, 2, right over here. 3 actually. 3 seats. All of you come in. All the Pilchiks. You're all Pilchiks?
Yeah.
So you just cop some Gemaras over there, maybe. Oh, look. On the shelf above that, there's Gemaras. There's brown ones, little small ones. No. Where are you looking? Show them, Rabbi Geffen. Show them that shelf with the blue Svarim. There's Gemaras over there. Okay. And then you come up. So look at the Gemara like this. You ruined all the jokes. We were mamish middle. You heard this mamish. Now we're going to get back into it. Okay. You brought some seriousness with you. So we're talking about Rabbeim that beat up kids, right? So you're from a mishpacha of Rabbeim, yeah? So my Rebbe was a Pilchak in Darchei Torah. How is he related to you? Father's first cousin. You also in Kerlin Stalin, but he wasn't my Rebbe. He was my brother's Rebbe in Kerlin. So in Darchei Torah, he used to come in every day with a different mask, a Purim mask. You know about this?
Yeah, he still does.
He still does?
Yeah.
This is 45 years ago, and he must have been, I don't know, he must have been 40, 50. We're talking about the same one?
Yeah.
Leah in Hara, wow. How old is he today? See, it keeps you young, this stuff. Wow, I was just shocked. You know what? He might have been like 20 years old, but in a 5-year-old brain, he was like 80. You know what I'm saying? He was still a young guy then. So he's only like 7 years old today. Okay, Givaldi. Wow. So, okay, we're holding over here. Not a good raya. Again, for those who just came in, if a person deliberately lies about the pikadon and there's a hasra from two edim, the question is, does he have to bring a carbon and does he get malchus, the two of them together, because it's a big chiddush, or only one or the other? What happens? So we brought a raya over here, it's only one. Who's the one that says you don't bring a carbon? Reb Shimon. It's not a raya, this brayz is Reb Shimon. According to Rabbanu, you would bring a carbon. You know what? I have another reason why it's not a good raya. Anytime I teach this brayz of Hachi Tanina law, this is how I say it. Listen to these words, tell me what's missing here. If somebody does Shevuos HaPikadim on purpose or by mistake, he has to bring a carbon, b'kesef shkalim. It has to cost him at least 2 shekel. What's missing? Malchus. So he has to bring a carbon. But there's no malchus. It's not even mentioned over here. Okay, it's no riot to anything. So if he only brings a carbon, or my chumros, then how could you compare it to something else that also has a carbon and say it's more severe than the other thing that you bring a carbon? Why is it more severe? It's more severe because the type of the carbon costs you more money. You have to spend a little bit more, so that's why it's more severe. Ask the Gemara, but the bottom line is, okay, so now we have a brisa that seems that a guy that has asra with Edim, he only brings a carbon, he doesn't get malchus. It doesn't say anything about asra over here in this brisa. The reason why there's no malchus, perhaps because he didn't get asra. Our question was, if we know for a fact there's asra, does he get malchus? Tashma, a pikadon, the Shevuos HaPikadon, you're not mechuyev if you do it by mistake. We said mistake. What do you have to bring if you do it deliberately? A carbon that costs 2 shkalim. My lab, but asrubay. Typical classic Gemara. L'chayr there's asra? No, there's no asra. No raya. Tashma. So Rashi says, I don't know where this price is, what the beginning of the price is, I have no idea. But it seems like, and the way they explain it, seems like from the Hemshech over here, that the Brisa wanted to learn Pikadon from the Nazir. A Nazir. Yeah, we had in this week's parasha, Nazir. So the Brisa says, no, you can't learn a Pikadon from Nazir. Why? When the guy, he does it on purpose, he's a Nazir. He gets malchus if he does it deliberately, and he becomes tummy, he goes to Levaya deliberately. There's no malchus by Pikadon. Now, this is a great raya to our question. Why? Because we're looking for a case where there's Edim. And this should be a case of Edim, and there's no malchus. Why? The only way you can get malchus is if there's Asra. Here, that's our case. There was Asra, and you do not get malchus. It says in the Brisa that you can't compare. Another you get malchus, and Shevuos HaPikadon you don't. You bring a carbon without my malchus. So Gemara is doichik. Perhaps it means it doesn't mean you don't get malchus. They need nifter malchus. You need a real kapara. You don't get a kapara if you only get malchus. You need to do 2 things. That was Rav Kahana's question. Do you get both malchus and a carbon? So maybe when it says you don't get malchus, it means it's not enough. You have to also get a carbon. Okay. But the Gemara asks a simple question and a very simple answer, because if I ask you the question, you might come up with this answer as well. It seems like the Nazir gets away with just getting malchus. But he has to bring a carbon. So what's the obvious answer? That the carbon by a Nazir is not for a kapara. He wants to restart. What happened was he was supposed to be a Nazir for 30 days. He messed up in the middle on purpose. So now he wants to restart his Nazirus. To start over, you have to bring a carbon. Not for the kapara, not for the Haver that he did, just so he should be able to start counting. Okay, Amrur Rabban Kamei the Rabba. These, remember the Gadata part? The 2 lines that we had all the way in the bottom of Lamavav and Beis, we have Ravacha Bar Huna and Rav Shmuel Bar Rabba Bar Chana and Rav Yitzchak. They were learning Torah by Rabba. So they came back and they told Rabba what happened with Rav Kahana. Omer Luhu, I have a problem with this whole kasha. What was his question? What happens if a person who's over on Shevuos HaPikadon He watched a goldfish for someone. And then the guy came, he loved the goldfish. So when the owner came back to get his goldfish, he denied it. He says, I don't know what you're talking about. But there was two Eidim standing there, and they said, listen, if you're going to deny it and you're going to lie, you're over. Does he get malchus and a carbon? What happens? So says Rabba, you're telling me, oh, if there's no asra, and there's two Eidim that saw it, your whole question was because it was asra, and maybe he's chayiv carbon, chayiv malchus, I don't know what to do. But if there was two Eidim there, and he denies in front of the two Eidim, mechayiv, he's going to bring a carbon? Kfiras dvarim ba'almahu. This is what we call kfiras dvarim ba'alma. Take a look at this. Let me just show you. On Erev Shabbos, I told Yoshi this idea. I would like him to do something like this. So he drew it real quickly. He says, this? I said, yeah. Gewaldig.
Beautiful.
2 minutes later, it's like that. This is the AI. But you have to know how to draw a little bit, you know? So what is this? This is like a shredder, like a, not a shredder, but a one of those machines that takes wood and, you know, makes it into pulp. What is it? A chipper. There you go, a chipper. Think about it. You have two Eidim that saw that you borrowed money. They saw whatever they saw. And you stand in front of them and you deny it. What is that called? It's called kfiras dvarim ba'alma. It's nothing. It's meaningless what you're saying. You might as well take it in a chipper and put it through the chipper. It means nothing. You're against two Eidim. When are you chayev? You be chayev when your lie is going to create a monetary loss to someone. So bring a carbon because you lied. But when your lie means nothing, it does zero, it's not hurting anybody, you said something, you said shtusim. A lot of people say dumb things. But right, go back to the beginning of this year, you'll see a lot of, yeah? You had something to say? That's what you're going to say? You're mechavan to them?
Things. People say stupid things.
Yeah.
I know. I see it all the time.
Yeah. You know, how do you see it? Well, you're looking in the mirror. Like it's mashma for what you said. Only other people that you talk to do this, but you yourself, you're perfect. Okay, fine. How's Nasei? By the way, that was the longest parsha.
That was good.
You got it done like a long.
There's a lot of repetition on the back end.
Right.
So I was already hip to it from the front end.
Huh. That was not shtusim. That was like.
It's Torah.
Yeah, of course.
What we do.
So anyway, you hear what's going on here, Eitan?
I'm a little not focused. I'm thinking about Avodah Zarah. Like, what's in it that you're pitching it so hard? I mean, can it be like Kidnovations? I don't know. It's got to have good stuff in there. I don't know. You got to tell me.
It's good. I'm telling you, it's good. Trust me, it's good.
I can't do it. I got to
You have
ask questions.
snakes, drinking wine, getting drunk.
Oh.
Is it Megillah? It starts off with 4 daf of Agadata. The Goyim, they get a sukkah, and then Hashem puts out the sun, and they kick it, and then I'm not going to say the whole Masechta here now in front of everybody. I'm sorry. It's good, it's good. It's not Avodah Zarah like you think. Oh, bowing.
That's what I'm thinking.
No, stop it.
I don't know.
We're gonna do Avodah Zarah. It's gonna be Geshmak.
All right, I'm Geshmak.
Oh, see here what he says. He says this whole question is off. You have two Eidim with Asra, two Eidim without Asra. How could you say something against them? What you're saying is nothing. You shouldn't bring any carbon. You shouldn't be chayiv at all. You can't deny in front of two Eidim. So from here, from what he said, you see, if you sit and deny a monetary obligation, but there's Eidim over there, so you didn't do anything, so you're potter. I have a good right to you that if you're koifer, if you deny a monetary obligation in front of Eidim, it's meaningless, and you don't have to pay. You're not going to suffer the consequence for that. Why? It says you deny this. So we learn from here. If somebody denies one of the brothers, one of the shultim, I'll tell you this. I didn't say it in a long time, so I'll tell it to you. There was a guy who was a simple balabas, whatever. He had a little store, whatever it was, and people became famous. They had somebody in Yerushalayim, the Chalban. I don't know if he's still around, but like a simple guy, and he gives brachas, and it works. People started going to him. Oh, what's going on here? Why does it work? So one of the rebbes went to check it out, and he stayed there for a while. And he goes to the guy. He says, "What's going on here?" The guy said, "I made a deal with Hashem. I made a deal. I said, I'll be partners with you. Every dollar my business brings in, I'll give you 50%. And he had a box, he said 50 for me, 50 for you. So the Rebbe said, oh, that's the pshat. When you become partners with the Refuah Shleima, then you're partners. And from a partner, you could ask stuff. You could say, hey, partner, I need a favor. Give this person a refuah, whatever it is. And that's shutfim. Should all be partners with the Refuah Shleima. V'nishbal sheker. Oh, so this is the one. It says in the pasuk v'nishbal sheker, prat l'lava b'shtar v'lava beidim. It comes to exclude that if you have a shtar, there is a shtar around, and there are edim around, and you deny it, prat. What does prat mean? You don't have to bring a carbon. You bring a carbon when there's no edim, when there's no shtar. But if you're talking against the shtar, you're talking against the edim, you don't have to bring a carbon. That's not a kfir asmamain. You don't have to bring a carbon. So it's a good right to Shmuel, to Rabbah. It's a good right to Rabbah that what? Since there's edim here, Rav Kahana's whole question was, there's edim here with Asra. If you're going to deny in front of edim, you don't have to bring a carbon. From this Bryce over here, you can't bring in a raya. Why? He was saying real shtusim. He comes, the guy says, you owe me $1 million. He says, you're right. I admit, I owe you $1 million. But guess what? You're 100% wrong. It wasn't in front of edim. It wasn't in a shtar. So, who cares? You just admitted you own $1 million. You owe $1 million. You're nitpicking one thing that he said in the sentence. That was edim. Okay, so there's no edim. The R edim. It doesn't make enough community to what happened there. If you admit that you owe $1 million, you owe $1 million. Oh. Levisi, v'lo levisi b'shtar. So the reason why he's putter from a carbon is because what he's saying doesn't make a difference. It doesn't make a difference in the monetary sense. He's masking to the money. He's just arguing on a side that it didn't happen in the daytime, it happened at night. Okay, so it happened at night. You're not going to bring a carbon for that. You only bring a carbon when you deny money and we catch you. But over here, you didn't deny the money part. You only denied that there was edim there? Okay. Why would a person do that? I don't know. But he was arguing on a detail. Mimai, I'll prove it to you. Right? We said before, Vekichash comes to exclude if you admit to one of the brothers or one of the shutfim. You have two people. Both of them say, hey, you owe $1 million. So you tell this guy, no, I don't owe $1 million. You tell the partner, I do owe $1 million. So you don't have to bring a carbon. Why? Because you admit it to it. So the Gemara says, what's the case? If he said, no, I don't owe you $500,000, but I owe you $500,000, for that you would be chayav a carbon. Why? Because you denied half the loan. They came to say, look, you borrowed money from both of us. I admit to the amount, I don't admit to the details. I borrowed $1 million from one of you, but he admits to the full amount. That's a person denying stop words. It doesn't help him at all. He's not going to gain anything monetarily, so therefore he's potter. And therefore, therefore the whole entire Bryce is talking about something that he's not gaining by his words. It's just fears dvar. The balbai is chomer nazir. Toshma. By Shevuos Avikadin, you're not chayiv on a shoyig. Umay chayiv as doina. What are you chayiv when you do it deliberately? Oshem kezeshkol. My la is doina edim. L'chayra, there's edim here that said that you were a mason, and you see from here that a person who denies money, when there are edim, you're chayiv. La is doina atzma. There's no edim here. He is admitting himself. Toshma. Again, so we want to find out if there's edim involved, like Rabbi said. When there's edim, and a person admits to that there's whatever it is, there's edim, they say you owe $1 million, and he denies it. Do we care about what he says or not? So we did this already. Did a few times. There's two sets of edim. The Mishnah says that if the first set of edim don't want to swear, this is by Shevuos Eidus. Two sets of edim don't want to testify. They saw what happened. All four saw the first. They come to the first two. Could you testify? No, we don't know anything. And then the second said denied it. Shneim chayava is both chayav a carbon Shevuos Eidus. Why? Because each set could have testified. So that the Gemara already asked this question, we'll repeat it. The second one I understand, when there's only two left, so now these two become very, very important. They're the only ones alive that could testify. The first two already said they can't testify. Now these two pretend they're the only two Eidim in the world, so that's why they're chayav. Why is the first set chayav? Right? We had this question. Why should the first set be chayav when they said they can't testify? They didn't cause any monetary loss. There was another set of Eidim. Akoponim. What do we see from here? We see that we don't care about the second set of Eidim. We only look at your testimony. You, right now, you testified that you don't know Eidus. Even though the first set is not causing a monetary loss. Why is they're not causing a monetary loss? Because there's a second set. They could testify. Yet, we say the first set is chayev. So what do you see? That when the first set says something, so by us also. When this guy says something, here, this guy in this picture, he testifies. He says, I didn't, but there's two Eidim against him. How could he say it? It doesn't make any sense. We don't care about the Eidim. L'chayr, we don't care about the Eidim. Over here also, we have two sets of Eidim. The first set is meaningless, yet we're mechayev them. Why are they meaningless? Because we have a second set. We don't care about the second set. We pretend the second set is not there. And we look just at them. What did you just do? You just lied? You have to bring a carbon. So too in this case. What did you just do? You lied? Bring a carbon. Oh, but what I said is meaningless. There's two Eidim. We don't care about two Eidim, l'chayr. That's what we see over here. We don't care. Says the Gemara, so we had this answer there. Here. We have two Eidim. The second pair of Eidim, they happen to be brother-in-laws. Why? Because they're married to sisters. So now they're worthless. They're not real Eidim. That answers the question. What was your question? Why is the first set of Eidim chayav? There's a second set. Oh, the second set is not a real set. They're pasaleidos. They're brother-in-laws. So if they're relatives, so why? Who cares? Why do you even tell me there's a second set? It's nothing. There's only one set. There's no two sets. The answer is because the two women are geises. They're mamish atat. They're at the end. And most people that are geises, they die. So I would think that they are good Eidim. It's not as if you have a second. Okay, it's a chiddush in Sisa. Right now they're good and alive. A person who's alive, even at the end, every moment that he's alive, he's a yid that's alive. He can accomplish whatever he accomplishes, the yisurim, whatever he's doing. Every minute is alive. You don't count him out. There was a Rav in Prague who was on his deathbed. True story. And they asked him who should be the next Rav in Prague. So he said, Dilma Rabbi Meir here. And that's how he died. So they went around looking for a Rabbi Meir. Maybe there's a Rav by the name of Rabbi Meir. They couldn't find it. So they started interviewing people. And one of them was the Noda B'Yehuda. So they asked the Noda B'Yehuda, what did he mean by Dilma Rabbi Meir? He says, Rabbi Meir in the whole Shas holds, Chayshinon, L'miyuta. There's a slight chance I'll still live. What are you asking me about who's going to be the Rav? I'm not dead yet. I might live. So they said, if you're such a Talmud Chacham, you should be the Rav in Taka. He became the Rav of Prague. Says the Gemara. Sponsors. Turning to the Daf. Kidnovations LLC in honor of our sons Kalmo and Yisro for learning Sanhedrin Makas Shevuos with Reb Eli. And our global, he's now in America. I think on Sunday he's going to be, or maybe now, Matzah Shabbos. Tonight. But it's American now. During Sunday morning shir, he'll be, by that there's already 40 people signed up, a whole thing. Going global to be mechazik them MDY Kids on the East Coast. See you there. Anonymous, in honor of Mark Ashkenazi, enough said. Givald. Says Gemara. Toshma. Balabay Shaitan Tan is gonna be bikodu. Do I still have that thing? There was a balabais. He's watching somebody's goldfish. The guy comes says, I want the goldfish back. He says it was stolen. Now, as soon as he says it's stolen, he's chayiv kefil. That's the halacha. Balapikadin that claims ganav, he's chayiv kefil. He's a ganav himself. He stole it. By him saying that it was stolen, he stole it, he's chayiv kefil. He swore that this is what happened, and then he admitted, and then came Eidim. If he admitted before the Eidim came, Mishalim, Keren, the principal, V'choymesh, and we call it 25%, V'asham, and he has to bring a carbon. And if he admitted after the Eidim came, Mishalim Tashlumi Kefil, he has to pay the Kefil. V'asham. What's missing, Rabbi Isai? Choymesh. Doesn't say Choymesh here. Why not? Because once you pay Kefil, the Choymesh is in there somewhere. Now, this is talking about a case of Eidim. And what does it say here? Asham. He has to bring a carbon. So what do you see? You see that even in the case of Eidim, you have to bring a carbon, not like Rabbah. Rabbah says you don't bring a, that's it. You're saying shtusim when they're Eidim and you try to deny the Eidim, you try to fight Eidim, you can't fight Eidim, you don't bring a carbon, you're nothing. Says Gemara Achinamik, the Ravina, we're going to say that the Eidim were relatives and they don't really matter in this case. Okay. And therefore, so if there's no Eidim, so the fact that he denied it, he was trying to get out of a monetary thing. He was trying, so he harmed in a monetary case, and that's why he's chayav carbon. Omar le Rabbeinu le Rav Ashi, Toshma. So we have a little bit of chazara here. This is what we did on Amud Aleph. Chamur b'meno Shevuos ha'pikadon. Shevuos ha'edus is more severe than a pikadon. Shechayav ha'azayra makis v'shegigasa oshim because of shkalim on the what? What did I say? Yeah, Shevuos ha'pikadon is more common than Shevuos ha'edus. Shechayav ha'azayra makis v'shegigasa oshim because of shkalim. Yechayev on a mazid malchus. And shagig, you bring a carbon. Now the case of malchus. So it has to be the Zaydim. And it says before that you have to bring a carbon. So this is what we said before. I already said this brisa. And I took out the whole malchus thing. There's no malchus, so there's no Eidim. Toshma. We had this also. We said by a nazir that's tamei, you can't bring any raya from a nazir to pikadon. Why? Because a nazir, when he does it deliberately, he's chayiv malchus. But by pikadon, you're not chayiv malchus. Hechidami. What's the case? Either like a Eidim on my loika, obviously there's Eidim. In order to get malchus, you have to buktani. Tamei shvus pikadon shein loika. Milko the leilaki. You don't get malchus. You do bring a carbon to Yufta the Rabba. There's a kasha Rabba who says that in a case like this, where there's Eidim, you don't bring a carbon to Yufta. In fact, it's a good kasha. Reb Yochanan Omar. Reb Yochanan argues on Rabba and he says, no, if you go up against the Eidim, like over here, in this case, you go up against two Eidim and you say something, we don't care, you chayiv. However, if you go against the star, then you're potter. Star potter. What was this? No, I don't know what this is. Oh, here's a star. No, it's not the star. Whatever. I don't understand that. Over a papa. My time in the Rebbe Yochanan. What's the difference if you go up against Eidim or you go up against a star? If you go up against Eidim, you're a liar. We don't care that there's Eidim against you. You lied, you bring a carbon. But if you go up against a star, no. What you're saying is nothing. There's no whatever the word is. Omer Papa, my time the Rebbe Yochanan. Eidim avidah de maisi. You know why? Because Eidim could die. People die. Everybody dies. They said about Putin. It's probably just a thing. They asked him, listen, over 1 million Russians died in this war. 500,000 Ukrainians. What are you doing? Just stop it and finish. He said, listen, everybody dies. So they'll die a little early. But not everybody has land. You need land. Land is forever. Okay, Givaldi. But, okay. Everybody, they could die. They will die eventually. Everybody dies. So in Melo, right now that you're denying what happened, you're causing a monetary loss. If there's no Eidim left. Shtar or Manach, but a shtar lasts. Well, you could lose a shtar, it could get destroyed. What do you mean? Oh, you know why shtar is associated with karka? There's a lien, a property, there's a real estate lien on it. When you have a shtar, there's a lien to property. And therefore, when somebody denies karka, he doesn't bring a carbon for that. So shtar is like karka. Itmar, mashbiya de karka. If a person says to somebody, swear for my karka, I want you to give edus. This time they're Reb Potter. Here, it fits right in that it's Reb Yochanan who says Potter. Why? The Midam Reb Yochanan. Chayav, Shtar Potter. He makes a distinction between a person who denies, he fights with Edom or fighting against a Shtar. And we said that when you deny Shivit Karkais, there's no carbon. So L'chayr fits right in to Reb Yochanan who says Potter. This time it's a great raya. Omle Reb Yirmiyah Reb Avo, Lemer Reb Yochanan Reb Elazar, bepluked to the Reb Eliezer Reb Rabbanan Kemeflagi. Reb Yochanan and Reb Eliezer are arguing with the Tanoim, Reb Eliezer and Rabbanan. So this is a very interesting question. If you steal a piece of real estate, and then something happens to the real estate while it's in your possession. You steal somebody's apartment, and then there's a big flood in the apartment, and it causes a lot of damage. Who has to pay for it? Says the Tanakama. Reb Eliezer says you have to give him another apartment. You have to give him another field. So Chacham say it's real estate. You can't steal real estate. You didn't remove possession from the owner. You took it. And when the damage happened, it happened in the original owner's possession. So give it back to him. What's the source of the machlokes? Reb Eliezer darish ribui muyate. Rabban darshi kloli prati. Now I'm sure after we had the 12-year-old, where is he? He's here tonight. Here he is. So now everybody knows the difference between. Anybody want to say what it is besides 12? Anybody? We have adults that want. You want it? How old are you? 15. Go. What's the difference between a ribui, mild ribui, and a klal prato klal? Let's go. Let's hear.
Ribui, you say everything.
Yeah.
And you're taking out most of the things, which are not like
yeah.
It's the mute.
And then you put it back in.
But you're putting back in.
But you have to be made. How much? What are you made? How much?
You might only one.
Only one thing. Gewaldig. And a klal pratu klal is the same thing, but you memay it.
Anything that's similar to the klal.
Similar. So it'd be more things usually. Very good. Oh, now 15-year-olds. The adults I don't expect to know. Right? Very good. We did not coordinate this before. So let's just do it inside. It's super, super easy. Here are the psukim. Came out a shtickle like a chag in America, but whatever. It says he denies. Denying this guy, this Shevuos Eidus. They come to him. Did you see the testimony? No, I didn't see anything. It doesn't say what. Everything. And all of a sudden, the Torah tells us very, very specific things. Pekada and Sumas Yad. What's Sumas Yad? Alone. Or Begezel. Or Shekasamisai. 4 things. And then in Pasuk Chav Dalet, it says, so what do we have here? A ribui, miut ribui, or a klal, pratu klal. It's the same thing. So, here it is in a. I couldn't believe it. I have to bring him in here. Avi Kamiansi's kid, 10-year-old kid. He just started MDY Kids. He's here for 3 days. So I asked him what sugya does he know? He starts telling me sugyas, and he has a hard time reading Gemara. And he tells me from all the pictures. He remembered charts with a guy married this one and he had 2 kids and that. He's telling me the whole thing. Mamish, I want to bring him here. His father, Avi, couldn't believe it. So, this is the visual. It says in the pasuk, "V'kichish v'amisoy." I don't know any edus. In what? In everything. Metaltalin, money, gefilte fish. We have a few trees that's karka. Then you have miut. So miut takes everything out. I'll be mimait everything. Mamish, like he said. What's your name again? Zevi Lowenstein. Zevi said, Mamish, beautiful. You take everything out. The karka, metaltalin, avodim, shtaris, everything. And then the reboy comes and puts everything back in. But you have to take out one thing. So I'm going to take out, what do I have here on the side? Anybody see? Shtar. You have shtar in red. So the difference is, at the end of the day, you're only going to take out one thing. The thing that's the least similar to everything else. And basically, it's something that doesn't have any intrinsic value. A shtar is nothing. You can't even use it as toilet paper. It's too rough for toilet paper. It's garnished. You can put it on top of a bottle sometimes. That's it. Okay, fine. Now let's go to the next one. I don't know, you ruined it over there. No? Now you're giving me work. I can't. It's not zooming out. Hold on, I'll go here. Okay. Klal, prat, klal, same idea, same thing. There's a klal, everything, prat, take everything out. The Torah says that in the prat, because it's so you have to take out all these things. Klal puts it back in, but we are left with more things that are not included. Avodim and karkais. Now let's see inside. Now we can fly through it. That's the end of that sugya for klal, prat, klal. Right, and once you take a certain kav, a certain mahalach, you take it for life. You go, your Rabbeim, your Talmidim, they all go with klal, prat, klal, or they all go with ribu, miyut, ribu. All the types of testimony. Only certain things that he's testifying about. It went back and included everything. Ribo miyut, riba, that's the klal, riba miyut, riba hakol. So it includes everything. My riba called milei, anything that you could steal. Umay miyut shtaros, only coming to exclude a shtar that in itself is not intrinsically valuable. The same exact thing, but they call it klal, prat, klal. And it works slightly different. Or because I just thought to myself, this crazy thought flashed. If somebody took out this part and didn't show the whole beginning and said, this is how Stefansky gives a shir. So it has to be something that you could, it's movable, it's metaltal, and it's worth something. What does that exclude? That comes to exclude real estate. You can't lift up real estate. Even though you could lift them up, and all Torah, Eved is like karka. And another thing that we're going to exclude is how do you say a star? What kind of document? Some sort of a loan note, a note. Even though you could move it, the star itself is worthless. So l'chayra, you're going to say it lines up now. The mandama that says that your chayav holds like Reb Eliezer, and the one that says he potter like Rabbana. No, not a right. Everybody's going to say, yeah, if you hold that you chayav a carbon shwan karka, you're going to say you hold like Reb Eliezer. But the one that says that you potter, even in this case, Reb Eliezer is going to agree that there's no carbon. Why? There's another diuk here. Not everything that you could steal. So it takes off one more thing. So what am I going to take off? What am I going to take off from that word? Karka. And I could also prove this from our Mishnah. That what? That there's no carbon when somebody denies a shibut karka. It only says a case when somebody accuses somebody else for stealing his ox. And he says, I didn't. Now the diuk is v'lo ganavta savdi like katani. How come it doesn't say in the Mishnah anything about a slave? Even though the Mishnah does talk about slaves and you knocked his eye out and the tooth out. It should say my time la mishum david is l'chayr because of this idea that a slave is like a karka. V'mivim korban k'vir shivat kakos. And you don't mamish like we were talking about. There's no korban on something that has to do with karka, and a slave is like karka. You're right. It's a great deal. But you know what? I have the reverse diuk from the end of the Mishnah. So therefore, each diuk is going to cancel the other one out. What does it say in the Sefer? If it's a knas that you could admit to and you don't pay the knas because you admitted to it, then you potter. But any time a Mishnah says these words, this is the rule, it comes to exclude something. It comes to exclude. So accuse somebody else of stealing a slave. Elo, since there's a diuk this way, that way, we can't bring a right into either direction. Rabbi Sai, have a good Voch, a wonderful week. We'll see you tomorrow, Beis Hashem, 7:10 English, 9 p.m. Hebrew.
Merit the Zechus of spreading Torah throughout the world. Sponsor a shir today. MDYsponsor.com or sponsor at MDYDaf.com.